I love when people ask me why I'm single, as if it's not my choice. Like, choosing to be single every single day is actually the harder choice to make. It is extremely easy to be in a relationship. I've been in them before, and I would really like for my next person to be my last one. You know, choosing a partner is like kind of the most important decision you'll ever make in your entire life.
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
You know what? You got me stumped because I have absolutely no idea why people are asking why you're single. For starters, nobody cares. Second off, we already know why you're single. You're over the age of 30 and you think makeup and camera filters are a replacement for an actual personality. Now you could go ahead and try and kid yourself all you want into thinking you're single by choice, but we all know the truth. When you say you've been in relationships before, what you meant to say is that you wish they were relationships. You control access to the bedroom fund. That goes without saying, but it's the men who control access to relationships. It's a tale as old as modern times. You found yourself wanting Chad, so you gave him access to your slimy sinkhole of devastating anguish, hoping that would be enough for him to see something in you that he didn't see in all of the other women he was flying to Pound Town. But he didn't, because there wasn't anything different. You're vain, annoying, and you operate under logic that can be easily debunked by a drunken high school freshman who can barely read English.
So yeah, this time I'm gonna take my time. My standards are at an all-time high right now. When I was in a relationship, the bar was so low. It was the bare minimum that you had to do to get me. And that's just not the case anymore.
That just raises further questions.
Right, and what exactly are these expectations that you're holding for this perfect man? Well, you know what? Don't bother answering because we already know those standards are as unreasonable as they are unoriginal. So here's a better question for you. Why should a man bother to meet those standards? If you're looking for Chad, why should Chad settle for you? What makes you so great? You're not that young, you're incredibly insufferable, and you think a social media following is a measure of self-worth. You're clearly not intellectually stimulating, and your bedroom expertise is most likely mediocre at best. I mean, if you knew how to make awesome cinnamon rolls or something, that would probably be an okay start. But you strike me as the type of woman who'd set an entire building on fire if she ever tried to boil water on the stove. And frankly, I wouldn't even trust you with the icing, let alone an entire baking pan. So it seems to me that Chad would stay away from you for the sake of his stomach and his kitchen. He's the type of man who takes food safety seriously.
I'm really over starting over again, so yeah, I'm gonna be single for as long as it takes. As long as it takes for me to find the person that I believe is going to be the last destination.
Remember, your biological clock is ticking.
Hate to break it to you, Toots, but men aren't destinations. We're not just waiting at a bus stop for you to pick us up. That's not how any of this works, because you're forgetting one key thing. Men get to choose whether or not they want to be with you. And with every video you post, you're giving that man more and more reasons to stay single. Besides, we have more important things to do instead of you deciding whether or not we're worthy enough to pump a baby into that desolate wasteland you call a womb. If we're wasting our time with that, then how are we supposed to master the Ninja Gaiden trilogy? That game ain't gonna beat itself, sister. Believe me, I've tried. And to be frank, the idea of spending the next few years trying to master Ryu Hayabusa's ability to destroy birds sounds like a way more satisfying time than being stuck in the meaningless, soul-sucking relationship with you. So I sincerely hope that you enjoy choosing to be single. And I cannot wait for your sequel when you try saying the same thing at the age of 40. I'll be sure to have my popcorn ready. I'm sure it'll be a gas.
That's funny because it's so true.
These are things that you should and shouldn't do if you want to be treated with privilege, if you want to get into the VIP, if you want to skip the line in life and always get the best of the best. Listen up. Number one, don't be easy to be friends with. People want what is exclusive. They want what's hard to get. So when you meet a new group of people, smile, be polite, but don't always be that person who's constantly chasing everyone else because they don't feel like they are worth being chased. Don't be initiating conversation all the time. Don't be smiling way too much. Make people work to become friends with you. However, always make it clear that you're trying to be friendly with somebody, but let them carry the conversation and come to you.
Great plan.
Thank you.
He likes your plan, Chief.
I don't know, maybe I've been fighting intergalactic space crime for too long, but I've always found that chasing people takes a lot of work, and chasing people platonically is even worse. Why should a person bother to chase another human for the sake of conversation or friendship? I mean, it might be worth it if we're talking about the greatest conversation to ever be had in the history of humanity, but then again, you don't need to chase a person down to do that. Hell, some of the best conversations I've ever had was on a bus. Human beings are social creatures. We want to socialize with others, but what we don't want is to try to move heaven and earth to talk to a woman who's acting like she's better than everybody. It's a headache, and it's usually not worth it. If I see a woman who's acting all high and mighty, I personally stay away from her, because the last thing I need is to be judged by a woman who is average on her absolute best day, especially when I have a history of having more stimulating conversations with shag carpeting.
Number 2, always dress expensive and look high maintenance and bitchy. When people see that you are well put together, they assume that you are used to such a higher standard of living, and they will always come at you with the best of the best. People will open doors for you when it's not even their job. Men who are not your husbands or your boyfriends will pay for you because they assume that you are used to a higher standard of living and they don't want to disappoint you. People will treat you differently when you look like you are put together and high maintenance.
Are you sure?
Well, you're not exactly wrong, but it's for all of the wrong reasons. My time is just as precious as my money, and if I'm spending it with others, in both regards, those people are going to be a group of damn good folks who are kind and fun to be around, and you do not fit that bill in the slightest. When you present yourself as high maintenance and act in the manner of a female dog, then we will see you as high maintenance and acting in the manner of a female dog. And once we see that, we're going to snicker behind your back and avoid you like the plague because you are not friendly. We won't open doors for you because we couldn't care less. If you're a confident woman, you should be confident in your ability to open a door on your own. And we're certainly not going to buy you anything. If you can afford to buy nice clothes and makeup, then you can afford your own drinks and overpriced meals. My money will be better invested in other things, like lawn chairs of a decent quality and plenty of durable cargo pants. I've come to learn you can't have too many of either one.
Number 2, be confident and have self-worth. You need to know what you bring to the table in friendships and in relationships. You need to know from the top of your head why you are worth so much. I go out, I'm like, these people are lucky to be with me because I'm the top 1% of women. I'm beautiful, I take care of myself, I'm extremely smart, I'm feminine, I have the actual taste for class and true luxury. I have good intentions for everyone, and I am spiritually awakened. After a while, you will truly become a magnet because all of those things will sit in your aura, and people will just naturally fall in love with you. They can't help it.
All right, let's address the elephant in the room first. Woman, 3 comes after 2. Learn to count. But I gotta hand it to you. The amount of times that you contradicted yourself in one sentence is kind of impressive for a modern woman. So let's go ahead and break down all of the things that you bring to the table, shall we? You claim to be top 1% of women, but all you do is dress in clothes you can't afford. You're somewhat attractive, but your attitude completely nullifies your physical appearance. Your vocabulary clearly dictates that you lack anything higher than average intelligence, and having a taste for luxury is just a lazy way of saying that you like expensive things that aren't necessary for you to live your life. You claim you have good intentions for everyone, which makes no sense because you come off as judgmental and carry with you a holier-than-thou attitude. And you claim to be spiritually awakened, but if you were, you wouldn't have a need for all of these material possessions. And it's times like these, I like to quote the intergalactic space god Vlobichard when he says, "I couldn't care less how you choose to live your life, just live it the best you can. Just don't act like you're a queen bitch when you're filming TikTok cringe from the driver's seat of a Toyota Camry." It's an oddly specific quote, but a fitting one. All hail!
The passport bro movement in America exists because men in America, they lack motivation, they're mediocre. That's racist! And women in America have to work, they get educated, and they start making money because they have to. So why would American women have to put up with a man that don't have any of those qualities? These passport bros, they think they can go to another country and offer this woman, and he says it in the video that if he goes to the Philippines and he offers a woman a better life, he said it right there, he's just basically manipulating these women into thinking that they're gonna have a better life with them, which they might, because they may live in very poor area.
You need to face the fact. You're a racist. A racist. You, not me. I'm not the racist.
No, the Passport Bro movement was a response to the plague of modern Western women. Answer me this: why would a man work twice as hard to get with a woman who's constantly judging him, constantly disrespecting him, and will leave him the second she doesn't get what she wants? Meanwhile, he can move to the Philippines and increase the odds of finding a more traditional woman who would treat him with respect, kindness, and give him some peace. Regardless of your answer, why do you care? You're a strong and independent woman who don't need no man. So what Passport Bros do with their own time and money doesn't really concern you, does it? Oh wait, that's right, I forgot. Someone's a little jealous. You cannot stand the idea of seeing these men attempt to find peace when you threw your life away thanks to your false sense of superiority. Man, I can't even begin to imagine how badly it must sting to know that those men you thought you could control could figure out a way to escape your clutches in a simple way. Oh man, you really screwed the pooch on this one, didn't you?
But guess what? If you bring her to America, that's expensive. You're gonna have to work your ass off. You're gonna have to be the provider. You're gonna have to pay for all her bills if she doesn't have an education. You might even have to pay for her education, and she might end up leaving you. Because life here is different, and you can't expect women in America to be like the women in other countries.
Like, people talking, they say, huh? What are you talking about?
You can't expect women here in America to go for a guy that's below them. If I go to school, I make 6 figures. I want a man that makes 6 figures too, or more. Because men in America, they want their women to go 50-50 on the bills and 50-50 maybe on the household and the chores, which usually is more like 90-10. So why would a woman here settle for some loser? We have high expectations because we can.
And you get a reaction from people who say, huh? What are you talking about?
So you're condemning Passport Bros for going overseas to find happiness, but then calling them losers if they stay in the West. You literally just answered the question as to why men are going overseas. And who said anything about moving back to the States if they find a wife over there? Yeah, you're right, living in the States is expensive, but you know where it isn't? Where these women live. A man could actually provide a decent life for a woman if he chooses to stay in that country. In fact, many men prefer it that way. The men will work and provide for the home, and the traditional woman will provide for the man by taking care of him and that home. And in certain circumstances, it's very possible to live on one income over there. So that problem is solved, even though it never really was a problem. And it seems to me like you're just putting yourself through an awful lot of stress by concerning yourself with the amount of money we have in our bank accounts, and I appreciate that, but rest assured, how we make our money and how we choose to spend our money is none of your business.
I literally just saw a video of a guy that is stranded in the Dominican Republic, and he's broke, and he's asking people to cash app him money for his ticket back to the US. Because this man, they're broke in America, and they go to another country where the value of the dollar is a lot higher, and they lie to this woman and they pretend that they're wealthy men when they're not. So they are gaslighting this woman into thinking that they're gonna come here and they're gonna have this great life. Just stop lying to women. It doesn't matter if they're from another country. They are women, they have expectations, and you're lying to them. And you know what? Most quality men in America, they have no problem finding women here.
Well, nobody said that going overseas didn't pose any kind of risk. It's possible to get conned, fleeced, pickpocketed, or have an emergency. It's been known to happen. If you're gonna live on foreign soil, sometimes you're gonna end up on the short end of the stick. Nobody is saying that this is a perfect solution, but let's be honest here. Even though it is extreme, this solution is a hell of a lot more logical than anything you're posing. You're not giving men any other options. You just spent the last few minutes disrespecting us. So we decided enough was enough and are taking massive gambles by going overseas in an attempt to find a woman who will actually respect us. And yes, some men will fail. These are risks for a reason. But look at it from a man's perspective. If a man is straight up willing to leave his native soil to risk being stranded in a foreign nation without friends, family, or support, all in the attempt of trying to find a loving woman, then what does that say about you? If I had the choice of being stranded in a foreign land with no money or be forced to spend the rest of my life with you, then I'll be more than happy to brush up on my Tagalog and dodge the Filipino authorities, because that life sounds infinitely more pleasant than living with you and your filthy judgment. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. As always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell, leave a comment or two, and let's give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. And as far as this guy's concerned, I got some of the best subs in the known universe. You guys are beautiful. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.